Well, if you've attended any city events this summer, chances are you've seen members of the Rochester Fire Department, or you may have even talked to them about potential career opportunities. These are well-paying, rewarding jobs serving the community, and now is the time to apply. Firefighters Devin Monin and Amon Hudson with the Recruitment Division are here to tell us all about it. And you guys have been very busy this summer. Who are you looking for when you're out at these events or churches or anywhere in the community when you're recruiting? What type of candidate are you looking for?
We're looking to cast, we're looking to cast a huge net.
Okay.
Anyone who lives in the city of Rochester who's at least 18 years of age, in good physical shape, wants to be a team player, has a valid driver's license, high school diploma, or GED can apply for the exam.
And what is the process that someone needs to go through to apply for a civil service exam?
They can either go online to the city's website, cityofrochester.gov, and find all the information under the Jobs tab there, or they can go to City Hall, Human Resources, room 103A, and get a printed out copy there. Okay. Fill it out and then resubmit it to that office.
When you guys are out meeting people and they ask you, what's it like to be a firefighter? What do you tell them?
I tell them that I love the job. I love what I do. I love coming into work. I love working with the guys that I'm working with. It's an experience unlike any other. You get to serve your community and you get paid for it.
And Devin, how long have you been with the department?
A year and a half.
Okay, and so you're rather new.
Yes.
What do you tell people? What was your reason for wanting to become a firefighter?
Well, my dad's a firefighter, so it's been kind of like in my family, you know, since I could remember. But for me, I've always wanted to do something where I was helping people in the medical field or something like that. And I've always been really active. So this kind of brought both things together. And it was something where I grew up in Rochester my whole life, and I've always lived here. So it was something where I could still help people that, you know, I grew up with be in the same place that I've always lived and give back to the community.
Now, when someone is going through the process and they apply for the civil service exam, what can they do next to prepare themselves for that test?
Well, after they apply, they can pick up a study guide from City Hall, or they can download the study hall from the City of Rochester's website, www.cityofrochester.gov/firefighter jobs. I would recommend studying that. It has the topics that we're going to be testing you on, as far as what's going to be on the exam on December 19th. You can also go to your local library. There's civil service books there as well that you can request, and those can also help you with reading comprehension, mathematics, map reading, space relations, and human relations, the things that we're going to be testing on when it comes to the exam.
And we'll also be having some review sessions. Anyone who applies will get the information by mail or email that we'll be having review sessions, and then physically also to prepare for the test. There's a physical agility part, which is a running component. So cardio as well as weight training is recommended.
Going through the training academy, what's that like?
Well, it is. It's right now. It's 6.5 months. Yes. It's the first 11 weeks is EMS training. So you go 8 hours a week, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and Monday through Friday you do all EMS training to become a state certified EMT. Once you graduate, pass the state test and kind of graduate from that part of it, you go on to the next 19 weeks of fire, which is you become certified state, like 22 state certifications, and then also you become nationally certified in Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2.
And once you've done all this 6 months of training and you're a firefighter, how often do you go back for to recertify or for extra training, or are there additional things that you can learn to maybe get promoted, that sort of thing?
Well, there's training as far as the training goes. You can request to go to training outside department as well as the trainings that we do within the department.
Okay.
According to OSHA regulations and NFPA regulations, National Fire Academy regulations, you have to do so much training per calendar year. The exact number escapes me. I believe it's around 100 hours of training time that you need to do every year. But we have a training staff that's out there at the academy, and they follow and track all that to make sure that every firefighter is doing the appropriate training that they do every year. So you re-up so that your skills stay fresh every year.
Okay. Now, Aman, what's your story? What made you want to become a firefighter?
So and I tell the story, I was actually looking more towards law enforcement.
Okay.
I had put my application in to become a state trooper. I was out of the Marine Corps, and I was heading that path. I was going to be a state trooper. I saw what they were doing. I was going to go ahead and I was going to do it. And my older brother, who was a lieutenant on the fire department, he actually spoke to me and said, "Hey, you want to take a look at this?"
Okay.
And I was like, no, I want to be a state trooper. And then it was like one of those events where he just kind of sat me down and explained to me some, everything, pretty much a lot of the stuff that I'm telling people now about the job, and how much, how many benefits there are to the job, and how much, you can do as far as community and how they compensate you. And I was like, oh, it's starting to make more sense. And then finally he was like, you got to trust me, younger brother type of thing. And so I did. I took the test, and they called me back first before the state troopers did. So and I don't regret it at all. I'm much happier here.
And you mentioned community, and you guys, along with recruiting, I've seen you guys out at the fire safety house. I've seen the ladder truck come out to lots of events. How does community involvement play a role for a firefighter? Why is that important?
Yeah, it's right now, forever. It's just one of those things that we serve the community, and we want the community to know that we care about them, and that we and for them to trust us. And a lot of times too, with like kids, when they see someone in a firefighter uniform, especially with the mask and everything, they are afraid, and it might be even in those situations where we're in their house to get them out or something, that we want them to trust us. We want the community to know that we're here for them. That's why we're here, is to help them. So we do a lot of community outreach to let people know, to let kids know that this is why we're here, is to make them, help them and make the community a safer place.
What's a typical day like at a firehouse, if there's a typical day?
You would come in, you have all your gear or equipment that you have to put on the fire truck, because without that you're useless anyways. So you would put your gear on the fire truck, you'd inspect it to make sure it's working properly, then typically kind of go out throughout the fire truck and look at all the other equipment that's on the fire truck, make sure that's in place and functioning properly. After that, a little bit later on after that, we begin house chores. We don't have maids or janitors or anything like that within the firehouse. So we clean the firehouse ourselves, as far as scrubbing the toilets, mopping the floors, and all that stuff, etc. So we clean the firehouse every day. There'll probably be some around then. There'll probably be some training that takes place. As I said, we have to get a certain amount of training hours in throughout a calendar year. So we typically do some training. We'll go on an emergency call, and then there's also the process of eating. Again, because we don't have cooks. So typically when you see us out at like the East Ave Wegmans or something like that, we're shopping for lunch or dinner, because we're there for so many hours. We prepare our meals right there within the firehouse, and we cook that as a team, clean up as a team, and then whatever else the lieutenant may have us to do after that.
So what are the typical hours or shifts that a new firefighter would work?
So we work 3 day shifts, which is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then you get 2 days off. Then we work 3 night shifts, 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then you get 4 days off. And that's for everyone across the board up to chief level. So because they kind of have a different schedule sometimes, but we work that schedule, whether you're brand new, whether you're a firefighter who's been on for 20 years, and it just rotates year round. So you're going to work weekends, you're going to work holidays, but they try to make it so if you've worked one holiday, 1 year. The next year you don't have to work the same holiday.
What are some of the typical questions people ask when they're thinking about a career in firefighting?
A lot of times people will ask what the dangers are. A lot of times people ask what the benefits are. I would say the question that comes up the most may be, what is the pay? Or
is it hard?
Yeah, is it
hard? A lot
hard?
of people ask, is it hard? Which it is, but if you want it, it's absolutely attainable. So you just have to work hard enough to
And
really
what do you
want
say
it.
when people ask, is it dangerous?
It can be, but I know we haven't lost a firefighter as far as a line of duty death since like 1980 something.
6, I think, 86.
Yeah, 86, maybe the last time. So we're a department that's pretty much stays safe. That's one of the things that we emphasize first is our own safety, because if we hurt ourselves, then how are we going to be able to help anyone else who's in need?
Sure. Is there a typical number of calls you might respond to in a day or in a week?
Depending on where you work.
Okay.
There are busier places than others in the city, just because there's more things that happen there, or there's more emergencies, I should say, that happen.
Okay.
So depending, some trucks and engines, they do thousands of calls a year, and some do less than that, but.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. For more information about a career with the Rochester Fire Department and the Civil Service exam, visit cityofrochester.gov/firefighterjob or call the recruitment office at 428-3690. Thanks for joining us on this edition of CityWise. I'm Tiana Stevens, and we'll see you next week.